like a hot pocket.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's
And it had the leftover cherry con carne inside.
oh, oh,
Yes.
sounds
Yes.
dangerous.
It's delicious. And later we'll have biryani.
Biryani. What is biryani?
Indeed. It's like a traditional Cape Malay dish, which has got like curry, chicken, rice.
I
It's
see.
very nice. They make it sometimes on board, actually. It's like an Indian thing. But the ones they make on board is terrible compared to the real deal.
Have you ever tried the real deal? Because that must be Indian.
Yes.
Okay. No, the South African version, the Indian.
No, I mean, there are actually differences between the South African version and the Indian version. But
Okay.
I've had both, and both of them are way better than what you get on board.
Okay.
Good chicken curry. It's important. Are we ready?
I think so.
Are you
Chicken
sure?
curry. It is important,
What
definitely.
is what is that?
This is cranberry slash hibiscus slash cinnamon slash mint
Sounds like
tea.
cough mix.
Hmm?
It looks delicious, but it sounds like a cough mixture.
It is delicious. I have to. I do question the mixes. I haven't been able to fix it. I don't think it has a fix now.
I see.
My mom is one of those persons who believes that um it's like this old shaman thing without a filter. So if you have, I don't know, hibiscus tea and cinnamon that is good for you, and she knows
Yeah.
the spirulina is good also, she will mix it. She
You will
does,
just put them all together
yes,
because
she does
good plus good must make gooder.
exactly.
I
It's a
see.
100%
I
what
see.
she does all the time. She does, she's careful enough to not do it with medicine. So things she
Yeah.
doesn't know, she doesn't mix, which is good. But
At
natural
least,
thing,
I guess.
yes.
Yeah.
But natural things,
Oh,
she,
the gym bros do the same thing. They call it stacking.
yeah, no, that needs to stop. It, it really has to stop. I actually asked her, like, because I was having like a mild reaction, like I don't work the same. Like
Yes.
plus one thing plus another doesn't really good.
Not necessarily, no.
No, no, no. For me, it doesn't. For her, anything that if it's good, it actually works for her. I think it's more like a mindset manifestation.
I see.
But yes,
I,
but it doesn't work for me. So I did had a mild reaction, and I asked, okay, what did you do different? Because I do feel
I
different
see.
a couple days.
I
And then
see.
she said, but everything I gave you is good. What are you talking about? Like, nothing I gave you is wrong. It's actually made for you to be healthy. I was like, yes, but it's
But
like, exactly. But I asked her, okay, so if you have a headache, would you take aspirin, ibuprofen, and Advil all together because they're all good and it will make you better? And she said, of course not. I mean, like, I'm crazy. She said, but this is different. This is natural.
you do realize that um I really hate to tell you this, okay? But Advil is in fact just a combination of ibuprofen and aspirin.
I know,
Sort of
I know. But
paracetamol added for good fortune.
yes,
So
but in portions. You just said it. In portions. In portions. You don't
but
take the
she's
full
doing it in
dosage.
portion. She's
Oh
she's
yeah.
she's she.
Yes, she's going at
So,
full portion. I get your point, but it was for this.
lies.
I get your point, but it was for the sake of the example. See, just to let them
I see.
know, like, okay, there must be a limit in the combination. Not everything plus 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 is good. No, there must be
I see.
a
I see.
breaking point.
I see.
Okay.
At least split them up. See.
Yes. Yes. And because she knows how I am.
Some spread going.
Yes, she knows how I am. So she doesn't really tell me. It's
Of course.
like yes, because she knows that I will be definitely a no in specific things. She will do like moms do when children when they're like very little. So
Uh-huh.
like if they don't like carrots, they will do a carrot cake. You will never know there is there is carrot in that. And like you liked it, you liked it, good. And they will inform afterwards. Oh, there was carrot in it. No way, that's my mother's.
Is that a bad thing? You
It's
are doing
definitely
that.
not a bad thing.
That's a bad thing.
It's it's definitely not a bad thing. But if I know that all combinations are not good for me, and then I feel the consequences, it would be
Yeah.
nice to know. Just say.
Okay.
And on that note, now that we started with mother-daughter dynamic,
Oh dear. Yes.
don't do that. Don't do that. It's not that terrible. It is very deep though.
It, it,
Okay.
yes.
Welcome back to Wild Conversations. This is where we stretch our imaginations, where cinema meets philosophy, and where everyday life suddenly feels cosmic. Today we're diving into the multiverse inspired by the film Everything, Everywhere, All at Once by the Daniels. If you've seen it, you know it's chaotic, hilarious, heartbreaking, and somehow it feels like it's about all of us. I'm joined as always by my favorite co-conspirator and partner in life, Mr. Tian, to dive into the messy, wild, and beautiful truth of decisions, regrets, and the freedom that comes when we finally choose to live fully. How was the movie? First impressions.
First, I mean, the sausage fingers were interesting. Uh, I would like to get my hands on whatever they were using when they actually came up from the booth. But you gotta give them credit for a original idea, pretty well executed, I guess.
Yes, I mean,
Mind bender.
for me, I believe, like the first time I saw it, to be honest, it was more like it's funny because when I saw it, I was on those days that I just like go in circles with different thoughts, that I was not able to break the loop. And
Yeah,
I really didn't find a proper way to break it. And I just wanted to watch a movie, like a feel good movie that just break me out of that cycle. And I really thought it was just a kung fu movie, like Kung Fu Panda real version,
I
something like
see.
that. Yes. And so the first time I saw it, even though I saw the ridiculous and absurdity of everything, it was not that funny as the second time I watched
I
with you.
see.
Yes, the first
I see.
time it was just like, I don't know, it's like it was breaking my brain little by little. It's like, oh my God, I feel that way, if you understand. So it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
not really, it wasn't really funny. And the first time it was very interesting. I felt like a deja vu in a way that I was watching The Matrix again,
I see. I see.
a parody, like a scary movie kind of
Oh,
thing.
yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. I guess that's kind of what they were trying. They were going for something like that, definitely. I mean, sausage fingers. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were clearly trying to make fun of something which is a pretty interesting idea, this whole multi-dimensionalness of what we experience. I mean, I like that. Good, good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, the movie really let us go into a chaotic multiverse where every choice is the beginning of the creation of a new path. It also it's similar to what the series Loki. I don't think you ever saw it, but from the Thor movie Loki, the
Uh-huh.
bad one, he had
I see.
a series where he was uh, he was incarcerated by the time police. Yes, and it was by basically the same thing. They were showing him the different versions of himself in the,
I see.
where it touches really really it can be as serious as you want it to be or as ridiculous as you want it to be, and
Yes.
it's the recurrent matter, I would say. It's a subject
Yeah.
that goes over and over, like every Deadpool also touches on that. We saw the
Yes.
infinite Deadpools on the second movie. Do you think that that specific subject, like while exploded in different movies, reflects how we already live? Like really constantly distracted, pulled into many directions, exploring what could have been. It does help us to know ourselves better or really distract us from the present.
Not sure if. Oh man. Like, I think more it's what happened with like people get fascinated with certain things, you know? Like certain things have this unique ability to fascinate us. And when uh, the kind of idea that all of this is based, not really the multiverse. I think Marvel came up with that. That's something different. Uh, it's called the many worlds interpretation, and basically, in extremely short and simple terms, if we go out and we do all of the math, we measure all of the things in the universe. It, the math seems to suggest that there's much more out there. Okay, well,
Mm.
actually, in more ways than one. And one possible explanation for this is this theory that multiple dimensions can exist, kind of like layers on top of each other. And this isn't crazy as this might sound to the average guy. These are, well-respected scientists, really know what they're doing, who's coming up with stories like this. So that just opens the door for the regular Joe to really go after an idea like this and latch onto it and maybe attach ideas from elsewhere and, tweak it for personal preference. And people love fantasies like this.
Yes, it's a possibility. It's something that it's a way to improve, at least in the imagination or world. And mostly, I mean, there is very few people completely 100% happy with the current reality. So definitely it's escape. The story of the movie is basically about Evelyn, this woman, Chinese American naturalized. She is unhappy, and we can all see it. She doesn't. She believes she didn't make the right decisions during her whole life. She's completely unhappy with everything she did, going away with women, having joy, starting this new business about the laundry. She feels encapsulated, like nothing is going anywhere. She's just rolling with life, existing in a way. What stood out for you about the communication style they had, like the family dynamic they had?
I mean, I think I think it's a pretty normal, if anything. Don't know. I don't want to comment on the functionality of it. I do think a lot of families like that out there. So I do think it's quite relatable to most people. Everybody has things that they wanted to do that they never got to do, and hopes and dreams that maybe are fading, maybe not. So again, like, people can relate to feeling that. People can relate to families and people responding this way to those types of feelings.
Do you think it's independently of like the normality of family dynamics now that is in boom about breaking cycles and how we should start seeing life in a different way? Like if something doesn't work for you, you should just like look the other way to ensure your sanity. For this family in special, that she's Chinese and it's all about tradition and there is a certain thing that they're expected to do. No, there's it seems like it like there are high expectations, even if it's low objectives or goals. You must exceed them independently of
Mm.
what you're doing. Do you think that is something specific for one nationality, or we all have different expectations that we need to not accommodate, but what people expect us to play a role for being part of an
Yeah.
XYZ nationality?
Yes. Yeah. No, of course. It's kind of living up to the stereotype. Uh, I, I I suspect you'll find, especially in Asian children, probably a very definitive answer, a very definitive answer here. Yeah, cultural expectations of people are different, and not in a universally good or a bad way. They're just different. Just so happens that if you happen to be Asian, you're way more likely to get guilted into becoming a doctor. It's just how it works.
Or like Philippines and North
Yes,
and
exactly,
things like
exactly,
that.
exactly, exactly. Yes.
Do you think like breaking cycles, like before it would have happened to Evelyn, whatever it happened to her, like this wide open view of what could have been without this breaking through moment, would have she able uh, to just change her path by herself, or really she just needed a push? I mean, she was about to get a divorce. I mean, the husband was about to surprise her just to shake her up, but it was not even because he didn't love her. It was just a way to nudge her to say, okay, we matter. Just wake up. Do you
Yeah.
think without all the things that she left in a matter of like 24 hours, not even like 3 hours, would have changed, or she would just be in pilot mode?
Uh, that's the difficult end of the question. I can certainly tell you experiencing something like that will 100% definitely change something down the line, because a perspective like that is quite unique. And by the way, also kind of features in with this entire topic of multiple universes. There's actually some science and some psychology. You can use this idea to help people. Okay, because if think of something like sports coaches telling you to visualize a victory, that's basically exactly what we're talking about here. You can kind
Hmm.
of visualize, and there does seem to be some, even if it is just a placebo effect, something is going on there. She needed this. She needed to see, and she saw. I mean, if something would have changed, I don't know. I mean, the sad reality is most people never take a moment to take stock of what's happening around them, and really count their blessings. They tend to say stuff like that all the time. Count your blessings, blah 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 blah. They never fucking do it. Why? Nobody does it. Nobody does it. And if you really seriously sat down, you did it. you find it really hard to complain about pretty much anything in your life.
Yeah, normally when you start counting your blessings, it's always after something really dramatic happens. Or yes,
Exactly.
it's funny. It's
That's what
you're
happens in a movie. Yeah.
yes. I mean, this was not exactly. Oh, fair enough. Okay, no, I didn't think
That's
about it.
exactly what she did. That's exactly what she did. In the end,
Yes, no,
she
because
realized that actually this dry, boring life that she chose wasn't that bad after all.
I didn't even think about that in that sense. I was thinking like a traumatic in like real, like actual reality, like the current reality, if you will say, not something paranormal that will change
Yes.
your thing. But yes, you're right. You're right. She did suffer something interesting for her. I was just very captivated in a way that they were like really snapping her with words, not only with their kung fu, like the solely
Mhm.
fact that they told her like, like this is your worst reality. Like you are the
Yeah.
worst Evelyns of the entire universe.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. That's
yes, like she was the root of
next
all
level
the success
insulting.
of everybody else.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
this is really is like a word slam, that tells you like you're really the worst you.
yeah,
That's going into the imaginary. If there was an alpha version of ourselves or a better version of ourselves, do you think that version will know better than what we know now? Or we fit that version with what we know here? Like how, like from a philosophical, psychological, how does that work?
well, first you'll have to figure out, what is alpha level. Does alpha level,
Exist.
uh, even exist? Yes, exactly. You know, how do you define that? Secondly, let's say you could do that, which I don't think you can. But let's say you could do that and you did, and you find, let's say Alpha Tian. Well, he's just gonna still know Alpha Tian, isn't he? Unless you show him all of the other Tians. You understand what I'm saying? It's just gonna be another me, okay, who made different choices.
But in this case, yes and no. I mean,
There's not gonna be a start and an end to this, if you understand what I'm saying. It's like a chicken egg kind of scenario that we're describing here. Like,
I
I'm not
I
sure how
know
that particular concept functions. Maybe someone
because
started explain it.
there is always an unknown story, because let's say the root is the same. You were born the same day, whatever universe you choose, right?
Yes,
But
yes.
that version was born from a decision that you took different in a moment.
No, well, your parents, I would hope.
¿Por qué?
Well, if you were, let's say, the first one to be born, not have had much say in it, did you? Which reality you're in would affect anything. It's really your parents, right? Okay?
Yes.
It's their decisions. So it's their
But for
last change.
yes.
Okay, and then you get bored, and then you start making decisions, and then kind of
So
interdimensional photocopies every time. Decisions. Yeah, fascinating, but wild.
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Because
So that first one will not be significantly different from any of the others.
no, no, no. Because we were born from the same seed. It's just
It's exactly,
yeah. It's like we decided instead of making a salad, make a juice after.
exactly.
I I get it. I guess what it makes me confused was like how would you make a decision like either if it's a yes or a no like from the same conditions, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There must be something different for you to have made another. or a different
A
decision.
different decision.
Yes, there must be some like an extra thing that you picked
Yes,
up.
yes, yes. You're not now. You're stepping into interdimensional inception, which
Yes.
is which is considering how other people's decisions influence your dimensional reality. Which, let's be honest, gets so sickeningly complicated. Yeah, that's like next level stuff. Okay. I already didn't feel quite qualified for this.
Maybe that's why this movie didn't get.
I'm taking it pretty far.
Maybe that's why this movie didn't get like as famous as it should. I mean, this movie only won 7 Oscars. Only.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, but I
Funny
never
enough,
heard of it.
even me, and never when you sent it to me was the first time I ever heard it. Never,
Exactly.
never, I don't know where the fuck was I. It was what 2001.
It was no, it was 2022.
Oh,
It was 3 years ago.
2022.
Yes.
Oh my god.
The only reason I
Uh,
picked it up was for Jamie Lee Curtis, the tax woman.
actually, I see.
It's always put for a really good laugh. She always provides good
Interesting.
laughs. So I really thought it was a comedy. It is a comedy, but
It,
not in the normal sense of the word.
yes, 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 yes,
um,
yes.
so what cinema? Because the only way we can actually see what we read, because it's not the only way where we heard. I mean, there are books talking about it, but cinema makes it
Yeah,
real, makes it palpable. What it's providing us is like with this version that or with this idea that there is a best version of you somewhere, that you can reach it. Uh, is it is an empowering idea? Do you think, or is it really secretly toxic? It's just like helping us to see how bad our life is right now that we want to
look,
up level.
I mean, people are always going to want to up level, whether they believe that or not, just for all of the reasons that there are to up level. Okay.
Hmm.
So, not that I think this makes the biggest of difference exactly what your belief is in this particular regard. Um, however, like I said, it could be helpful, certainly, if you need motivation. Come up with a plan to be able to, at least theorize some alternate dimension where you make different choices, and those choices work out better for you in the long run than the ones that you've been making historically. Be that what it is, I suppose you could also tie that into what we were talking about last time, how you just wind up in this cycle of constant self improvement, and kind of forget to actually live your life at some point along the way.
Do you want to dive into the hot fingers, hot dog fingers?
Hot dog fingers, man. Do we know why they put the hot dog fingers in there?
Yes, because I had to check. I had to ask, like, why in the world they would put hot dog fingers and rakakuni? you know? But
Rakakuni. I liked Rakakuni. I think
yes.
Rakakuni would have been an incredible spin-off, but I don't think he should have been a chef. I think Rakakuni should have been a mechanic.
Fair enough. I mean, raccoons. I mean, we all have
Yes,
a famous raccoon, and he was a marvelous electronic mechanic one. So I think they were
exactly,
hearing from
exactly.
from that. I mean, I think it was wise, so we don't really go into the Marvel
No, no, no,
universe.
no, no, no. No, now I want a spin-off. Rakakuni. With
So I did check why, because I mean, independently of everything, of being like this martial arts movie and philosophical thing, like it could have been way darker, like Matrix. Matrix was not really exactly a comedy, you know.
no, no,
It
no,
was
no, no, no.
very, very. So they were
mean, if you
saying,
watch it again today, you'll find a laugh in
of course, there are many things that
the
really,
late 90s and early 2000s were a wild time, you
yes,
know.
and they made a lot of things. I mean, when I saw the last one a couple years ago, it was not really as deep as I was thinking. I had an idea of what I saw when I was a child, and now
Yeah,
I came with this old Keanu Reeves trying to be young, and it's just like it's not matching a little bit. So I did ask.
yeah,
I did made a little research. Why this type of comedy? Like because it's not comedy of fun. It's just absurd, ridiculous things that
yes,
can happen.
absurdity. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. So what I found is that they use the absurdity as a way to blend with the seriousness of the subject. So you don't feel so attacked by the philosophy of the movie, but you find a laugh of a way of saying that in every single hard thing, there's always that you can take lightly. You don't need to take
Yeah, you
everything.
can break the tension.
Exactly. Exactly. That was the word I was looking for. That's exactly why they did that, to break the tension. And it actually appears in moments where it's building up this heavy feeling. And then you see
Yeah.
people dancing with the hot dog
Yes, yes.
fingers.
With the hot dog fingers. I don't know. I don't know if that counts as comedy, but that was creeptacular.
I mean, it
Like,
is
I mean,
absurd.
I mean, it's very upset, and I guess if that's what they were going for, so I guess they did a
Yes.
good job.
I
But
mean, they needed an exit for you to just disconnect a little bit of how hard was getting into the movie, and they did find it because I mean you're into it, and then they switch to sausage
like
finger.
just something, yes.
Yes, and then like instead of using your fingers, like I cannot use my fingers, so I'm gonna be super skillful with my feet, which is it's not a
Makes
absurd
perfect
thing.
sense.
Yes, people do it all the time, but yes, that was the main reason
Can
they
you
they
imagine
put
it?
it.
Like, can you imagine an entire universe full of, humanoid uh, creatures who use their feet to eat? Like
And yeah, maybe. I mean,
90s. Their feet would look different from ours, though.
oh yeah, definitely.
So there's
Um,
definitely one anthropological inconsistency that I can find in the movie there. That if human beings did in fact have hot dogs for fingers, then they would develop extremely textile feet.
Not only that, we will be so flexible,
Yes, your foot would look more actually like a
like
hand.
hand. Yeah,
You can imagine a chimpanzee or a baboon's foot. It would look like that because that's exactly what chimpanzees and baboons do. They do stuff with their feet.
yeah. I can understand completely. We already said this before, and we know there is a lot of anthropology, sociology. There is philosophy, loads. But there are two symbols specifically where the the movie goes around. The entire movie goes around those. So we have the googly eyes that appears from the beginning, and then we have the black circle, which in the end it morphs into a donut, which is part of the.
Bagel. Bagel.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it
A
was a
bagel.
bagel. Important. Yes, but it was a pastry, and that also comes into the absurdity of the humor they were um, using to symbolize philosophy or to mask it in a way that we can get familiar with it without having to visit oracles and tell you riddles so you can understand your vision in life. There's a lot of philosophy there. There's a lot of like destruction. and also there is like the build of joy and not exactly relax with the situation, but just be good with it, if it makes sense. And I didn't know until check. Also, I mean, I didn't even connect the dots, but I mean, they're the same shape, inverted colors, basically. So
Yeah.
the bagel is black, obviously, with the whole, because it's a bagel, but it's white. And the
Yes.
googly eye is the opposite, it's white with
Yes.
black.
Yes.
Is the yin and the yang,
Yes.
is
Yes.
the
Feng
good and the
shui.
bad. Exactly.
Indeed.
So,
Yes.
uh,
Yeah.
do you think the bagel was ever meant to be defeated or distracted, or it was just literally looking for being understood?
I think it exists as a necessary device for the existence of the other. You wouldn't be able to understand light if it wasn't for darkness, and vice versa. This is just this kind of binary good bad kind of thinking that we do as human beings. It's a very basic, you know, device to help your imagination solve problems, and it works. So we've kept doing it. So and that's what the black bagel represents, I guess. It's one of the things that we live in a world of nihilists. By the way, everybody is a nihilist. As a matter of fact, you'll actively be judged for not being a nihilist. Okay, so energy seems to flow in these two kinds of directions. People need something to visualize that. It's a black Bible or some other type of device to help you make this very, very simple but important distinction in the world. I mean, this is a particularly creative way of doing it.
It's a
Again, I
delicious
must
way.
say, some originality going on there. Yes, yes, yes. Also feeding into what I said before about being able to get my hands on whatever pizzas we're using. 'Cause it seems like a good time.
It's very interesting they portray, and that is something really common I've seen, I guess, more lately than before. Like I told you this before, I think like from the 90s and before, we always saw villains as a villain, as a monster, as a something awful to look at. And
Yeah.
the only villain that I really respected and was enchanted and charmed, like really charmed by it, was what's this movie? John Travolta and Nicolas Cage. Face Off. Face Off. Is it the
Oh,
change?
oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes,
Like
basically.
I
I
I
remember
do
it all.
believe, yes, I do believe John Travolta is the greatest villain in the world. Like if they tell you I'm gonna kill you, it's like please do. No, how do you want
Oh.
me to do it? It's really so charming in his way. But in this case, like lately, from a time on, we I don't know, the movies just mask this evilness with colors, playful. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's this comic like kind of thing, and that's exactly what Joy is. She's evil. She's absolutely powerful, crazy in a way, but she's just nice to look at. Do you think the colors help us to just like see it in another way, just not see the whole bad in her, or is this, why did this? What do you think they started changing, portraying evil as evil?
Well, I guess it's the same reason they used, a giant black bagel to represent, you know, all of the bad things that has become of the world and the universe, and oppose this to the kind of comic relief of the googly eye, you know. And this is the same thing. This is essentially exactly the same thing going on. you're kind of softening the blow. It's kind of a literary euphemism of sorts. You know, by making a character particularly, you can make a character. By making a character particularly interesting, you can form some rapport with the audience, regardless of the actions of the character. A good example would be the Punisher, for instance. Here
Mm.
is somebody doing absolutely terrible things to other human
Yeah, yeah.
beings, like, and people are rooting for him. Okay, you see what I'm saying? So if you can make somebody interested, good and bad kind of starts to blur a little bit in the mind. Not that it wasn't blurred before, but it makes it more apparent that all things aren't what they are, at face value.
I think that happens in general. Like in life in general, like we switch sides very easily.
Mm.
Like a person who is,
Hesitantly, but when we have to, I mean, when it suits us, yes.
I don't know if it has to have with the thing that they say that we have bad memory, or it's just that we have selected not memory per se, but selected action for it. Like I do
Maybe
understand you did
100%.
something wrong, but then it really suits me what you're doing now. So I'm just gonna go. I support you 100%. You're evil, but that's okay. You're benefiting me. So
Yeah,
it
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
our sense of community is very strong.
I
So
mean, we love the anti-hero. We always have. Like, to think. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I can quite accept why. Like, I guess we can all kind of relate. We all know, like, and ain't nobody's perfect. Secretly, deep down, regardless of what the politicians will say to each other behind closed doors, we all know that nobody is perfect. Okay, uh, we fully understand that, and we can accept quite a lot, and we can normalize quite a bit, even having a giant black murder there. If you have cool enough hair, and I mean, she does have some cool hair. Not
yeah. So there is a specific moment that like everything clicked for her. Well, besides the end, but before like everything clicked in a way that I was not expect like exactly how it should have been. So it was just when she connected the words that nothing matters, like nothing in the
mm.
world matters. And this is not only for this movie. It's if you see, I don't know if you ever seen Wanted, the movie, uh,
Yeah.
and and it's always a specific moment on this where somebody just tells you when you actually get into your head words like nothing matters. Why does that work unlocks infinite possibilities for you? It's like you feel powerful. If nothing matters, you can do everything.
Well, I guess that's exactly how it works. Uh, it's the opposite of the devices that used to stop people from doing all kinds of crazy things before there were organized religions and all of this. And now all of a sudden we've kind of thrown off the shackles and not really replaced it with anything. So nihilism is the order of the day because that's kind of a natural response if you realize that it's kind of cooked, then then your natural response to that is to want to affect it in some way. And then when you go ahead and you try to do that, you realize, well, that's not really a possibility either. The next step is nihilism.
Whatever comes, comes.
Yeah. Because
But
at
why
that
so?
stage, if you've essentially lost control of your own destiny, there's only a very limited amount of ways to truly take it back. Some of them are not great.
We can say that a little bit of like nothing matters in our lives is actually beneficial.
if you're emotionally mature enough to understand what that truly means, yes. But if it causes, because this kind of nihilism, it's a very shallow understanding of how the world works. Okay, it's a sort of a knee-jerk response that humans have. We all have it, but and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's like it should be like a phase almost, like teenagers have phases, you know. Nihilism should be a phase, not a destination. And if you get stuck there, which is unfortunately really easy, I mean, bad things happen.
So in that
Just,
case, the movie
it's
got it
just the
right
reality.
because it was just a really small
Exactly.
phase
Oh yeah.
she went through.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 The moment if you can't move past nihilism to the kind of freedom you were describing before, you're fact. That kind of nihilism can have very little, very little good effects on you.
What do you think is the role of Wayman in the movie? What do you think about him? I mean, besides at the beginning of being pretty much overlooked like a fly
Mm.
in the wall with
Oh, I
ninja.
think he's the real hero. He's the hero without the cape. He's just there. Uh, one of the different versions of him kind of makes sense, which I also like. It's like you could see the potential there, for all of his different versions, which I like. Um, I mean, I like him. I think he's in many ways what grounded her when it managed to bring her back to her own self in the end, the happy ending.
I guess his unlimited optimism was literally a way to just balance the
Yeah,
weight in the
yeah,
relationship. Yes,
yeah,
and his symbol was the googly eye, that thing
yeah.
that Evelyn hated so much. It's just like stop with the silliness. Why you put googly eyes everywhere? And like in his version, in like the main version, let's say, he was actually scared of her. Like he would do these beautiful things like underground. Like
On the
when no one,
DL, yes, yes.
yes, yes, when no
His
one,
his
no
own
one is
silent
looking.
rebellion.
There is one thing that he said, like I don't remember which version of that he said something like the only thing I know how is to be kind. It's like so in this case was do you think was his superpower or was portrayed as a weakness or a superpower or both?
I mean, yeah, we all like to think that's a superpower, and it certainly is in many ways. But we all also know the reality of the world, and that people like that often gets exploited quite early into being somebody else. So, I mean, I'm not saying there aren't people like that around. Okay, just saying fewer and farther between than in any previous in any previous versions of our society, where you have, just somebody truly good, just just being good for the sake of it, not because they think this or that's gonna happen. Just truly knowing kindness in that way. It's not all that common. So in that way, it's absolutely a superpower. And then the effect that it can have on the world. But at the same time, yeah, that opens you up to taking a lot of shots along the way, and we all know that people only take that many shots before they change.
Well, he did. He was checking out.
Yeah,
His last move was the divorce papers. Either she signs it or she change or
yeah,
or they move away. I feel it's like a reflection of what we currently live, like our current world, like fragmented, it's super overstimulated. Um, there's too many choices uh, by default in everything, even humans. So is it a mirror of what we live now?
If you look past the absurdity, that was obviously put in there on purpose. There's a reason it would make us uncomfortable if that wasn't there, you know, because you'd be quite easily able to relate to a lot of these topics, but way too easy, you know.
Wayman independently because he found her with a purpose, right? He went
Mhm.
across the universe, finding every single level in that got killed every single time. But
Yes, the dullest one.
yes, exactly. But the only one that he was not looking for was um, the movie star, the
Mhm.
kung fu actress kind of thing.
Yes,
That they actually met by destiny. It was not on the purpose of the plan per se. It was not a upgraded version that found her, but it was just literally destiny. And it
mhm.
also we saw that she was not only connected to him in every like universe, but it was also to the tax lady that at some point they were a
Yes,
couple as well. And that was they were
yes,
like she was like
yes,
I hate you, but I don't hate you at the same time. Like I don't know why I like you,
yes.
but do you is there a theory or do you believe that we are like connected to people not only here but in many other lives like if we're not meant to meet here as we are right now we will meet somewhere
Yeah,
in another way.
I mean, again, um, way past my pay grade, these questions.
What do you,
Okay, so what was the question again exactly? Let me just make sure I get this right. Okay.
do you believe so the movie shows they were connected not on in
Yes. And
multiple
are we
universe.
all connected if said universe exists? Okay, so we're accepting that this kind of like layer cake universe type deal
Exactly,
exists.
but not with everyone per se. Like
Yes.
there is do you believe there is a specific connections in your life that you are meant to meet in every layer of the cake, if that was a thing?
Logically, that wouldn't make sense. I mean, statistically, the chances of, let's say, me and you meeting, incredibly small if we repeated the same process. Each one of us got split off because we made different choices. The chances of us, ever meeting would be very small. Um, Play that out a million times, for sure there will be some subset in which you and me meet every time. But that doesn't mean that there is some specific connection. In my understanding, I guess it would be random because every time some universe splits off, it's because you made a different decision than the one that you made, and even in the smallest way.
This feels like the butterfly effect. The movie, remember?
I mean, it quickly goes there. It means it depends how far you take it. If I decide to have sugar in my tea, it's gonna make a difference. Is there now a new version of me that had honey instead? That's exactly the same. It's having this exact same conversation right now, but instead of sugar, it's got honey. I don't know. It sounds a bit silly, but. Like I said, who knows how far you can take anything out of proportion by just simply going too far in one direction. So I guess that's not the best argument. I'm just saying like we're going fairly far, but by default, just by the natural completion of the process. This seems to be, you know, quite far, quite very far. Imagine the amount of dimensions. I mean, I understand like infinity is there's so
Mhm.
much you cannot understand. I understand that infinite universes might be able to exist mathematically, at least, and I think, but that doesn't mean it does, and that certainly doesn't mean that you know making up an entire different subset of you know universes, a multiverse, so to speak, probably is not the simplest explanation for the kind of problems that we're trying to use this kind of theory to explain.
Because the movie plays with a lot of what if, you know,
Yeah,
specifically when she gets a small view of what she did in other multiverse, and she gets the downloads of the skills and everything. If
that's a handy
we,
superpower. Would be nice.
what would be yours?
What do you
If you
mean?
could choose, if you could choose any superpower in the world that you have them all, and you can download one specific now, which one would it be?
Oh, I don't know. I'll need time to think about that. That's a difficult question. Maybe one that
What?
can make a lot of money. Maybe.
I Fair
that,
enough. I
that that
mean,
would be a handy me to have now.
yes, fair.
Yeah,
I mean, no
yeah,
kung fu, no
yeah.
cooking,
Well,
no.
I mean, I'm South African, so I don't need kung fu. I have a fan belt in street fighting, and
Because it's a sport. Yes, I know.
yeah,
I
and I'm
know.
and I'm pretty and I'm already a pretty good cook, so
Humility aside now.
I'm fine, really.
I'm
Yeah.
fine.
There are a lot of things. Don't get me wrong. There are a lot of things that I mean. You gave me only one, but I could get a lot of good skills that I would like to have. I
Okay, I'll give
suppose
you
it's also
two. Which one would it be?
ah, it's the first one that can make a lot of money, and then maybe a really really smart one, like a really grown up, the most grown upness one.
What?
You know? Yeah, yeah,
Why?
yeah. Think about it. If you could be an adult really, really well, if you could be like adult on a superhuman level, you'd only have to do it for like 5 minutes a day.
So you just download a USB in your brain, just connected and disconnected
Yes,
whenever
yes,
you
yes,
want to.
yes, yes. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'll never have to ask anybody which government department to phone again. I'll just know exactly which one and what the rules are and what paperwork I need, and I'll
I
have it all
see.
available. I could just send it there
I
immediately.
see. That's a very.
Keep.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
I guess that's a very useful skill. I mean, nothing to say about it.
Okay. Okay.
This movie, I think it tries to teach us, if that's a word that I can apply, but it's about like being present in the moment, like not take advantage per se, but just acknowledge what you have in your life independently of how it looks like.
Mhm.
It's a. I read that the Daniels directors were inspired by like the commotion that internet creates. It's
Yeah,
too many choices, too many of too many, every
yeah,
time, everywhere, anytime. You have everything in your hands. If we get a little infected by so many choices, and we get infected a little bit of how will our life will be if we had X, Y, and Z. How do you think we can come back to this moment per se, or what do you think they were trying to help us to anchor again to what we are here? I mean, in the movie they do it with a slap. Remember that she was.
yeah. I mean, no, I mean, it's like that. We live in the age of entitlement. Okay, let's be honest. People are so entitled about everything. Okay, everybody thinks that their opinion is valid. They should have the right to, you know, whatever. People need to get slapped, is what I'm saying. Some people really need to get slapped, and a lot of people in the world really need to take stock of their lives and be a little bit, grateful for what they have. Especially some of the people who are complaining the most in the world right now. Literally have maybe not everything, but so much more than most. You know, and that's not so. If you find a moment to be grateful, you'll find a moment, to be, you'll be fine. You won't be spend your life always chasing something that you might not even deserve.
Is there anything you will change about the movie if it was in your hands? There was something that you will change, or is there something that they should have portrayed in a different way besides the sausage fingers?
I mean, the sausage fingers were very strange. I'm not gonna lie. But I mean, I guess no, I don't think so. I liked it, like I said. I mean, who am I to change something about it? What to change?
Why do you think it didn't get enough recognition, even though it's like 7 Oscar Academy winner? But I
Hmm.
mean, do you think it
Well,
was?
I think they were a victim of being too smart for their own good. You see, I think they ended up going over in a lot of people's heads. You know,
So we as
and I
society
think
just
that
shut it
right
down.
now, yeah, people don't like being preached to, and it does feel at some stage, like, and especially at that stage, if you think about the kind of timing of it, you know, it did feel like people were preaching to you all the time. So
Oh, this is
also,
this
I guess
this is post
considering
pandemic,
the
yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I reckon people are tired. Uh, they probably just saw it in the light that it was made. Like, it's this silly kind of absurd movie with some silly absurd characters, and they didn't really think about it too much. They didn't go home and think about the kind of things. I mean, which is also, I guess, normal. If you remember, it's kind of like when we were at school learning about poetry, and they were coming up and they were saying that the poet, they meant this really deep, you know, meaningful thing when they wrote this passage. It's all this beautiful metaphor for this, it's the same kind of vibe. It's actually bullshit. No, poet, he just wrote it because it's good. It's what worked for him. It's what he wanted to say. He probably didn't have a. Sometimes they do, certainly, but they go way too far with applying, all of this uh, sort of not surface level attributes to all kinds of art. And
You kind of remind me of a scene in Midnight in Paris with Owen Wilson, and they're on an art gallery. They're like looking at a Picasso. It's a Picasso about a woman, but like completely Picasso way. And then there is this all knowing, smart ass person. This gentleman is trying to give it like extra meaning to this wonderful painting and say how he was so inspired by X, Y, and Z to make this beautiful Picasso painting, blah, blah, blah. And in the movie, this Owen Wilson, he goes back in time and actually has conversation and actually meet these beautiful and artistic beings, and he met Picasso
Mhm.
and he saw in the movie, no, he saw that it was
Mhm.
a completely mess, that it was this womanizer person that really has literally not that uh, such a deep soul. So
Yes,
he
yes,
starts
yes.
listening to this person saying all these things that nothing has to do with the actual meaning of the painting because he actually saw that painting the night before with Picasso and he said, no, 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 I think you're mistaken. Like all he wanted to portray was his lover, the woman he
Yes,
was just
yes, yes.
going out with. And they were like, what are you saying? I said, yes, and that's all. They're like, I mean, it's like he's destroying this mirage of perfection, and they
Oh
were
yeah.
like, refuse it. I was like, no.
One interesting thing I know about Picasso is this guy used to go to restaurants, and when they brought him the bowl, he would like make a doodle on the bowl and give it back as his payment. And several restaurants accepted this as a valid form of payment. And I guess if you had been a restaurant, I don't know, that hold on to those receipts, they would be worth quite a bit of money now. So,
Like the
I mean,
camel.
but it does say something. Yeah, 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 exactly. But that does say something about his personality for sure. Yeah, imagine just pulling in, eating it from they bring in a bowl. You draw a little smiley face. Oh yeah, that'll be worth something one day. Uh,
Like the camel or the oh,
yes, exactly.
yes. I guess we just romanticize too much what we know, what we don't know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Did you ever entertain an alternate alternate version of yourself?
No, I couldn't say I've personally had the pleasure.
Why like that?
I don't know. Yes, I haven't been hanging out to the right places. Have you?
Uh, Not exactly per se.
I
It's
see.
it's um yes, it's not exactly like entertaining a better version of myself. It was more like in this case when this movie appeared, I was just thinking about like what if, you
Yes.
know, not exactly the version of who I will be right now. I do understand and I do for me. I do know that many things have to happen in order to be where we are right now. That
Yes.
it's like a recipe. Like if I would have saying yes to the no or the no to the yes that I did in the past, this what we're doing right now wouldn't be.
Yes.
Like if I wouldn't have made X and Y and Z decisions, perhaps we would have met where we met, but not in the same position, and probably we wouldn't be in the like being what we are now. So
Mhm.
let's say that my logic goes is stronger than just entertaining uh, a possible version of a different decision that I would have made. You
Yeah.
know, it's just that when I was going in this cycle and I saw the movie and I was like, interesting, interesting, because it was specifically what I was thinking. Like, if I would have done this, who would have
Yeah.
I be? But
Yes.
for my surprise, my the result of my thinking was not really happy because there's many things, like I said, like if I would have followed that funnel,
Yes. Yes.
this wouldn't be. So,
Yes.
I mean, there will be for sure many other things that at that moment I will be happy with or not. Who
Yes.
knows? But yes, no, it's I try as little as possible to imagine what if or if there is like a super powerful Vivian somewhere else.
Mhm. Yes, it's a very limited, specific set of circumstances where that's actually useful, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And I don't know, it doesn't really make me happier to think about the possibilities.
Yeah.
It it
No.
it, it kind of makes grayer your current reality, you know?
Yeah. Of course, you have to think about that. If there are if you let's say you take something like this to heart and you truly believe there are alternate realities, what does it say for the value of our reality? Okay, let's say there are infinite realities and infinite versions of you. Your own importance is gone. It wasn't amazing to begin with, and now it's almost like nothing, dust in the wind, and bada bing, bada boom, we're straight back at the nihilism.
True. I mean, there's many, like I said at the beginning, there's so infinite possibilities that Hollywood and Bollywood and all these production companies have made it real for us to understand what would happen if we will jump in time. You know, it's always portrayed that we want to fix something that we thought it was going to be better for us than our current reality, basically. But there is one
Mhm.
movie in specific that treats the matter so not dry per se, but just like logical, and it's an English movie. So and in this movie, he has the time. He is the one with the power who can go back in time to do whatever he wants, always as himself. You know, and
I
he
see.
quickly learns the lesson that like if it's not really going to be a fit for you, doesn't matter if you fix the conditions to make it happen. The end result will be the same. Either if you make yes decision or no decision, you know, or if you do what the person tells you. And it was super easy. Like he was in love with a girl, like the top girl, super pretty and everything, and she was spending the summer with him and his family at home, and he wanted to say that, you know, like I want something to start
Yeah, yeah,
something. He
yeah,
did
yeah.
it on the last night of the of her stay, and she said, "Okay, shame. You should have told me before. You should have told me like the first week out, like I was staying there and see what we could have done." And he said, "Oh, really? Okay."
Yeah.
Like he gave him hopes, you know.
Yes.
And he went back in time, and like the first week he went to visit and everything, and said, "Listen, like I fancy you and I want to do." And you know, and you know what she said?
Uh-huh.
Try me again on
Go
the
fuck
last
yourself.
day. No,
Yes, exactly.
yes, try me
I
again on the last day. So it was.
see.
I think it's the movie that like abords this subject so like in a matter of 3 minutes. It
Mhm.
really lets you into the
Yeah.
reality that there is no action that you can take that will make somebody do X, Y, and Z or do whatever you want. There is nothing like not before, not after. Like if the person made has an idea or has a purpose away from you, it will go away from you
Mhm.
regardless. It's I think we spend too much time thinking of what ifs sometimes.
True story,
Uh,
we do.
yeah. And kind of is a waste of time.
Yeah, 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 yeah. True
I think
story.
we should
So
just
it's a waste of energy. Just think of all of the emotional energy we waste about worrying what other people think of us, and then factoring in this exact what if I just you know had a slightly better job and a slightly nicer car, so my neighbor would think better. You know, that's all. None of that's useful in any way.
I think there was an social experiment somewhere that they did, or many they have done because it's always a remake, but about like we think that we are being observed, you know, and that's the main reason why we don't do many things outside because we think we are so important that uh, we
Other
will
people
be
take the
always
time
watched.
to really watch carefully,
And
and
that
they're
was
gonna notice if you put on two different pairs of socks, or you
that was
accidentally
the
put your shirt
exact
inside
thing.
out.
Like the actual experiment was doing that, like doing something outrageous. But I mean, besides one or two overlooks, like there
Yeah,
was no major
no,
disturbance
no
in the
outrage,
ecosystem.
no outrage. Yes, exactly.
Exactly. So yes, I guess we're just really worried about what people will say or think, and in the end,
People don't really spend that much time thinking about you. And I mean, it's kind of ironic to me because these same people spend all of this time not thinking about other people themselves, but yet believing that other people are thinking about them, which is a strange little thing. I don't know why the
cycle.
human brain works that way. Like, clearly you're not doing this, but you are convinced that the entire everybody else in the world, you know, is not doing exactly the same thing as you. Are just wondering what one of the other, you know, what one of the other people are thinking about, which is all quite silly to be honest. A little bit absurd in itself.
I don't know where that indoctrination came from. Like for sure, somebody
No,
should
I
have
think it's just that it's
told
just.
us.
No, I do believe it's built into the system. It's
Yes,
built. It's part of the human condition.
yes. No, because I do
Yeah,
remember. I mean, in Colombia specifically,
yeah.
I think I'm not sure now, but before appearances really matter. Like if you go to the store in pajamas, like people will be like, "She's wearing pajamas." I don't know if we were taught to actually look at people,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's why
No,
we
but
protect ourselves.
that's
I
like a
don't know.
little bit of, that's like that falls a little bit into cultural expectations, when you don't meet people's expectations, then of course they will start talking. And of course, you cannot satisfy everybody's expectations, so somebody will always be talking.
So it would be
So
like a
just
glitch
just
in the system.
ignore it. Exactly.
Like if you look different than you should, then people will actually look.
Not
And
necessarily just for the way you look, especially not nowadays, but in the past. It's all about what people consider generally to be, normal, accepted. And we're programmed to kind of help people into that box. If you remember, if you think back at COVID, like when masks became the new normal, people were, like doing the government's hard work for them.
well,
Yeah,
maybe I don't know. Maybe the multiverse isn't really out there. Maybe it's in the way we live, choose, love, right here.
yeah,
No?
yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, to your life, whether it exists or not, especially in this kind of really hypothetical scientific way, because really that's what's driving people's fascination with this is that, this is respectable science. This is an actual possible solution to a very real problem we have in that. I mean, this is why people take it very seriously and it fascinates them because it's just close enough to the truth. So, but regardless of whether it's actually a thing or not, it doesn't affect you all that much. It's not like you can actually jump between them or summon the skills of all of the other yous out there. You're stuck in this one, so you better do the best you can here.
Do you think this is a timeless matter? Like, or
Oh
like
yeah, it's certainly. Oh, it's been around forever. This
even
idea.
without the internet, like the what if people will
Oh
still
yeah.
be.
Yeah. They were around well before the internet existed. As a matter of fact, like this idea of a multiverse itself, specifically, it's from pre-Socratic Greek history. Is some of the earliest signs already that we see of this, and this is, literal thousands of years ago. People have already had this idea. This is not something fresh. It's definitely not something that's going to go away until somebody can find, some real falsifiability and prove that one way or the other, this will be a thing.
That we can actually time travel and go in our version
Yeah,
without
yeah,
being seen.
because it opens all kinds of doors.
Well, that was a difficult conversation today. The problem with this, I think it's too subjective.
In a way, it is. But like I said, when you start thinking about it, really thinking about it, trying to imagine how that would and or could work, it starts just getting ridiculously complicated in absolutely no time because, you have all kinds of things that could literally rupture into a whole new universe. Doesn't seem like a practical way to accomplish anything.
Definitely, it's very appealing. I think
It's very appealing, absolutely. I just don't think, you know, in this particular case, that's right.
the appeal of the movies to get the ability downloaded on a split second without actually doing the job, without actually doing the
Oh
work.
man, I would love that. Wouldn't we all love that? Could you imagine?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Like somebody else did the work, I'll just
The
get the goodies.
possibilities, exactly. And somebody else did all of the work, learning how to do karate, and I get all of the benefits. I mean,
Yes, I just know how
it's
to
a
do it like that.
very self-centered idea, which makes, absolutely no sense.
No, sorry, but it's something that we always look for. People, and myself included. I guess we all like something like the to get the benefit of something without
Oh yeah,
suffering so much. If it's already done, why not?
yes, yes.
There was there was a TV series called The Useless Man, yeah,
I see,
and it's the story of a man who was born without any worries, like none whatsoever. Everything was
I
handed
see,
to his hand. I mean,
I see,
they were so practical that even the mother went to the doctor when she was pregnant and she was like, I don't want to push.
I see.
Just open it up, get him out.
Take him out. I see.
Yes, I want no effort included. And he
I
was
see.
raised in that philosophy, like anything. I mean, you will have everything with the least effort possible. And they were very rich, but they were
Yes.
not into, like I don't need to sweat to get money. It's just like
Yeah,
how
yeah,
can
yeah.
we do it the easiest way? I just need
I see.
money. Just give
I
it to
see.
me the easiest way.
Yes, exactly.
Like if I need a surgery, okay, put the painkillers, anesthesia, whatever you need to knock me out. I want to know anything. I want to know that I had
Yes,
a
yes.
problem and now I don't
And
have
then
it.
it's solved. Yes.
Yes. How?
Yes,
I
yes.
don't care. I think that's a superpower.
Fair enough. Yeah, would be.
Well, this
Hmm.
is the end. Thank you for this strange conversation.
I see.
Yeah.
My pleasure. Anytime.
Gracias por quedarte hasta el final. Si algo de lo que escuchaste hoy te tocó el alma, puedes apoyarme en Ko-fi o Patreon. Ahí esta voz se alimenta. Con tu apoyo, esta cosecha crece. Los links están en la descripción. Hasta la próxima.